All right. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Halayim Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Ba'ashem Makar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught us his truth. Honors and salutations to all Sirakim throughout the four corners of the earth, laboring in honesty, sincerity, charity, and sound doctrine. And to the Bayav Dawadak, it's the house of David. All right? And to the Akwathium and to the children that believe on the true name of the Father and the Son, which the Father's name is Yahweh, he exists, and the Son's name is Yahweh Shai, he is the deliverer. All right? Because he is going to deliver us out of this captivity and out of Esau's system. All right? Because can't none of us do that. And just to speak on this real briefly, because I got something lined up, but to speak on this real briefly, Tazadak and them is not going to save you, man. You know, them dudes just went and marched down there in Washington. What's the difference of that in Martin Luther King, man? You know? Israel need to wake up, man, but the deceiver and the deceiver are his, man. So if you in those conditions and following after those men, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua did it, man. But I just wanted to go over because I was always looking at Donald Trump, man. I'm like, yo, why does dude always wear a red tie, man? What's the significance of that red tie? And I did a little research, and man, this shit got heavy. Just out of looking at a tie, man. And see that's the importance of looking things up, man, like we were taught by the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. All right, you don't understand something, you want to know what something means, you look it up, man. Going out the words, everything. Okay? And you got to break down all the lies and everything, man. Take the meat from the bones, man. All right? But I'm going to read this article. It's called the Long Red History of the Power Tie. So basically, I'm going to just read it. It says, from ancient China to Wall Street, the red tie has always symbolized aggression. So what's Donald Trump really doing right now, man? He's fully aggressive with what? These other nations, man. But look, there you go. Got a picture of this damn Edomite with his red tie on, waving, man. Like, hey, guys. But it says that the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, slicker than oil, but war was in his heart. Roughly paraphrasing, man. The book of Psalms, I believe. All right? But let's get into it. It says when you look at Donald Trump, he's usually trying to show off something red, thick, and dangling below the belt. I'm talking about his tie, his power tie, to be specific. See, Esau has got to try to throw some freak shit in there, man. All right, it says the one he wore to his inauguration, and which has become a staple of Trump's characteristics. Caricatures. I know I butchered it. It says power ties like the former businessman. Trump rose to prominence in New York in the 1980s, and as Trump's calling card have a historic and scientific significance beyond looking phallic. From France aristocracy to presidency, the history of the power tie may as well be the history of power itself, man. It's fucking Satan, man. I'm trying to tongue tie my words, man. But I looked up the word aristocracy. Aristocracy is the highest class in certain societies. So look, that's what Trump portrays itself as being the highest class in what? this society, Esau society. So aristocracy is the highest class in certain societies, especially those holding hereditary titles or offices, man. So what is he, man? He's in the president's seat. What's the president's seat? That's being the king, man. You know, and they choose those people like they handpick them people, man, and they gotta be of a certain bloodline, man. All right. It says synonym nobility, peerage, gentry, gentility, upper class, ruling class, elite. All right. It says a form of government in which power is held by the nobility. So then I looked up the word nobility. It means dignity, generosity, superiority, virtue, greatness. It's like Alexander, they call him the Great, but he was the Greek. Integrity, which Esau has no integrity. Grandeur, majesty, society, elevation, because they call themselves the Illuminati. They want to illuminate, they want to shine, elevate. Incorruptibility, which Esau's all corrupt. So, yo, these words basically define, right now, well, starting with the elect, defines Yasharala. It says royalty. But see, check it out. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, man. All right? So that's why they're using these words for themselves. And it's crazy, all right? So that's the word aristocracy. Aristocracy. All right? In case I pronounced it wrong. All right? It says, to the presidency, the history of the power tie may as well be the history of power itself. Damn. So they're saying that the history of the power tie may as well be the history of power itself. It says it may also be tangled up with America's fall from greatness. All right, it says we'll start in China in 2010 BC. So now check that out. It said, let me read that again. It said it may also be tangled up with America's fall from greatness. Because what? America already fell out of greatness. For what? Trying to be bullies, you know? Trying to run society like bulldogs, you know? When all this shit is coming to an end, but check it out, man. It's a lot. Good. So check it out. I got the book of Psalms, chapter 10, and verse 3. It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, man. So what does Esau do? They boasteth of the things. Oh, we took this person down. We did this. We did that to these people. We're the greatest. You know, we wear these red ties. It's like, nah. Making a joke with that red tie, but they really do wear the red tie and shit. And that we're going to get further into that. But they're boasting, and that tie that represents what they're saying is it represents their power. And they try to represent like they're the greatest nation ever. Just like you had Rome, you had the Greeks, you know. They boasted themselves of being their heart's desire. What they wanted to do, they wanted to take over everything, wanted to control everything, man. Okay? So this is the same spirit that's on what? America, man. All right? And let me read this part again. It says, it may also be tangled up with America's fall from greatness, man. So America isn't great. That's why you got Trump talking about that bullshit. Let's make America great again, man. All right. This is Psalms chapter 10, verse 3. It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire. All right. So what's Donald Trump's mind? I want to make America great again. Okay. It says, and blesseth the covetous, whom Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua abhors. So he blesses everything that the Most High hates, man. All right? Going back to the article, it says, we'll start in China in 2010 BC. Salakia. In 210 BC. It says, believe it or not, the oldest examples of red power ties are connected not only to the maniacal leaders, but to walls. Here we go, to walls too. So now, what is Trump trying to do? He's trying to build a wall. What's that supposed to represent? Power. All right. Now it's going. I believe it's going to talk about the Great Wall of China and things like that. You know, so they in history, when you had a kingdom, what you would do, you would build a wall around it. You know, that's why it says in Isaiah 62:6, talking about he set watchmen at the tower, because they would sit on the tower because they had the wall. So if you see like an enemy coming in, you could warn them in. You know, so they can hide the children and the women, and then the men get busy. You know, but it says it says, believe it or not, the oldest examples of red power ties are connected not only to maniacal leaders, but to walls. 2. During the first dynasty of Imperial China, Emperor Qin Shi Huang commissioned many absurdly large-scale projects, including an early version of the Great Wall of China and a large terracotta army comprising some 6,000 terracotta soldiers. These soldiers, assembled to guard his body in the afterlife, were painted with red bandana-like neckties. While the emperor didn't wear them himself, the luxury of dyed clothing on his warriors reflexively indicated his own extravagance. Extravagance. The paint of the ties has worn off by now, unlike the mad with power asterisk associated with them. All right, so look, they go a picture of, these guys, the terracotta, and if you look closely, you can see on their necks, it looks like the bandanas, but those bandanas was red. Okay, and you look at that shit now, that's where them Blood and Crips get that shit from. So it's nothing new under the sun, man. All right. It says the next example is from over 300 years later. Trajan's column. Trajan's column of victory monument for Roman Emperor Trajan. It'd be a stretch to call Trajan's neckwear a tie. It's more of a cloak, but his soldiers wear something resembling a hanker, resembling a kerchief around their necks. Whether they're wearing it for utility or otherwise, these soldiers did belong to Rome's largest military and expanded Rome to its greatest size. Rome's military color being red, all right, it's a good guess that the kerchiefs of this once painted column were red as well. I'd put their neckwear firmly in the red power tie column. See what I did there. Now check this out. Now this is why Esau really loves this whole red right here, man. Why? Because that's how it came out looking, man. All right. So everything he going to refer to is red, man. All right. So check it out. This is Deuteronomy, chapter 25 and 25. It says, "And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau," man. So why you think Esau so infatuated with red, man? All right. He's so infatuated with red, and then because that's in the spirit, he looks at red like, yo, that's the ultimate power. You can't get no better than red. If you wearing red, you the shit. But then they change. Nowadays they call themselves white people, which is no such thing as a white person. All right, it says and no coincidence that these ancient Romans and Chinese soldiers chose red. It's science its science. So before we continue with more history, it's worth nothing. Salaki. It said it's worth noting the numerous studies on the link between red and competitive behavior. According to research complied by Psychology Today, wearing red gives competitive edge. It makes you feel more dominant, and to your opponent, it makes you appear more dominant and threatening. See how Esau trying to spin it because they know this is history. They know they came out red all over like a hairy garment, man. They came out looking red, man. They blood showed through their skin, you know? It says red has been linked to higher levels of testosterone. So now that Esau's a natural born homosexual, but now he's trying to make it seem like he's real manly. Because if you're red, the red, get the fuck out of here, man. All right, it says so if you're someone who can't get red in the face, that's Esau. Maybe you can get orange in the face. Wearing red helps let people know your capacity for aggression. A red power tie is worn by someone calling attention to their power, much like a frigate bird trying to get it on, trying to get it on. Wow. Um, let's see. Matter of fact, now that brings me what I gotta go to this because that's why Esau putting out there keep talking that red shit, man. Red, red, red. Why? Because it's time to rule, man. So look, this is the book of Job 9:24. 24 says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where then who is he, man? So yeah, man, they covering up the faces because what they doing, man? They talking about some red. You gotta be red, red this, red that, man. All right, that's a bunch of bullshit. But it says a like. Let's go. Okay. It says like a Coratain, Croatan, mercenary, fighting in the 30 Years' War. These soldiers wore red pieces of cloth tied around their necks, and they must have been aggressive enough to get an audience. No, it was because Yahweh Shemi Awashai, worked with him. All right, because it says he raises up kings, man, and he takes kings down. All right, it says after meeting with them, France's King Louis the 14th, 16th, Salaki, adopted their neckwear. Now France, what's that? That's another Edomite nation, man. It said it became known as the cravat, a mispronunciation of France's word Croata, Croatia, which Croatia is very proud of this heritage. In 2003, it actually tied a gigantic red tie around the Roman amphitheater. It has to be seen to be believed. And Louis Shalaki, it was King Louis the 16th himself, with all the might of the 17th century French king, who made the style a power move, man. And then he showed this image of this fucking Edomite on this horse. I seen servants on horses, and that's a servant on a horse, man, with the red tie. All right, going back to Trump trying to basically what's the word I'm looking for? Not implement, but show his power, so to speak, for lack of better terms, man. It says in classic monkey see, monkey do fashions, the cravat spread like wildfire and became the staple of the upper class. So servants on horses. So these guys are calling themselves the upper class here, which a brother or elder, I'll say that elder Yashawamba, I believe it was. did the testimony on when that Edomite died or went to a coma, and he went to the spirit world, and seeing that Edomites ain't shit in there, you know. So that's why when they hear it, because this is for their time to rule, you know. They try to do it the fuck up. Those top dogs, man, you know, because they read and they search shit out. But anyway, it says it wasn't just who wore it, but how H. LeBlanc's seminal 1829 work, Art of Trying the Cravat, describes the ties as a letter of introduction. According to LeBlanc, each nation had its own style. The American cravat presents the appearance of a column destined to support a Corinthian capital. You can thus attribute any column-shaped tie to American style, and I think that most business ties fall into this category. By the 1920s, America would cement itself as a power player in tie history, thanks to New Yorker Jesse Langsdorff, a tie maker that used to be a job who's used 45-degree angles and three-piece construction to create the tie we all spill mustard on. So check it out, man. They was talking about the different classes, right? Levels. So that just when I saw that, all right, that reminded me of the Illuminati guys. All right, so you got different levels, right? And they try to, and Illuminati, their whole thing was in secrecy, man. All right. So then they wear different fashions, shake your hands certain ways, and all that. And that's a form of secrecy to let you know what type of level that you want in their wicked you know, kingdom or queendom. So this is Psalm 64, verse 5. The book of Psalm 64, verse 5, it says, they encourage themselves in evil, Salakia. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune or the commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them, man? So looking, then when they wearing those ties, that's just like they representing different secret classes or whatever. And then basically they saying who gonna see us, who gonna notice, who gonna search these things out, you know? Well, let's go to but yo, and guess who seeks those things out? Yahweh Shemi Shah. How? Through his men, you know, through the hopeful elect that work diligently, man, looking up things, trying to see with you know, look, just exposing Esau all around, man, all the way down to his goddamn tie that he wear around his neck, man. And I didn't even think this ain't me, man. It's the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shah, man. We don't boast ourselves, we boast Yahweh Shemi Shah all times, man. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare, and I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So, yo, he can't hide none of these things, man. All right? He can't hide none of these things. I'm going to read that again, man. That was heavy. It says, but I have made Esau bare. So if you're making something bare, you stripping it, basically, man. All right? Bare, I have uncovered his secret places. So that tie and all that, and a lot of people think that just goes back to the Democrat and Republican Party, which is that's false information. It goes far as back as what we're reading right now, man. All right. All right, it says, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not, man. All right. So you can't hide nothing from Yahweh Bashim outside, man. Okay? You can't hide nothing from Yahweh Bashim outside. Now let's jump to John 7:4 real fast. Then we're going to hop right back in our article. All right, this John 7:4 says, "For there is no man that doeth a thing in secret." And what they try to do things in secret by their little secret handshakes, their secret clothing, their patches on their clothes and all that. You know? That's their secret. And to the naked eye, that's why they call themselves the illuminated ones, the Illuminati and all that. Why? Because they do these things in secret and and to the average Joe, you know, you wouldn't know what the fuck it was unless you looked it up. And they got niggas so in derision right now, they don't want to look up a goddamn thing. So that's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushua set up certain men to search these things out, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua put the spirit on certain men to search things out, man. Everybody has their lot that they got to stick to. All right, it says, "For there is no man that doeth the thing in secret, and he himself seeketh to know the Salakia. And he himself seeketh to be known openly. If thou do these things, shew thyself to the world," man. All right. So if you do them things, you shall show yourself to the world, man. All right. But you're getting exposed to the world, man. All right. All right. This is jumping back into the article. It says, "And it really was all of us. Ties became a staple of almost every man's daily wardrobe. Not every man Esau's, man. Fuck that. But then you got niggas that want to fit in, so they wear the tie, man. Niggas even going to church wear ties and all that shit. It says this is arguably when America was last great. Here we go. Okay, let me explain. It says manufacturing used to account for a larger portion of a company's earnings, which was great because that meant more jobs for unskilled laborers. Uneducated white male prosperity flourished since you didn't need to go to school. See that? Yo, you didn't even need to go to school back then. In Esau's kingdom and all that. That's why Esau's so fucking dumb. Why? Because, matter of fact, their family has something, they pass it down and pass it down. All right, it says, you could just start working. Don't get too nostalgic. Nostalgic. Remember, this period is responsible for a large part of ignorant sexism and racism we're dealing with now. Y'all about to outside of racist, man. It says in the background of all that men wore hats and ties for everything, so the president wasn't just dressing much different from regular Joes. That probably lent its own kind of power to wearing ties. Every tie was a power tie. Remember, the red ones are always more powerful. America enjoyed its time of reasonable economic prosperity. If you were white in greatness, if you were white, so if you was an Edomite, let's read that again. America enjoyed its time of reasonable economic prosperity if you were white, an Edomite. In greatness, if you were white. So these niggas walking around talking about making America great again and all that shit, you niggas is crazy. Because it just told you in this article, if you was an Edomite, that's representing you. This country right now and its power structure represents Esau, man. All right? And they're about to be taken out of power, man. According to the Bible, man. So why the fuck would you want to be anything like these crackers, man? And you got these fucking niggas running around, these goddamn spics and these fucking wetbacks wanting to be like a fucking cracker, man. All right? It says, then sources of power started to shift. American manufacturing hit its peak in the 1970s. which I was born in 77, man. All right? So they started going down in the decade I was born, man. It says and started declaring Slovakia, started declining thereafter. Uh Company income shifted down manufacturing to stock trading and power like French King Power returned. It had a new home, Wall Street, with new power came the largest, Salakia, the latest form of power fashion, and its inevitable Hollywood icon, uh, Gordon Gekko. Gordon Gekko is a fictional tycoon at the center of Olive Stone's Wall Street originally. And yo, Wall Street was where that's said that was a major place for slave trade. All right. It says originally intended as a tragic figure, Gecko has since become the folk hero of wannabe fat cats, and his fashion is a central part of his apparel. Wall Street demonstrated you could sharpen slime with bold colors. So they basically saying Esau slimy, man. Here we go again. Never trust thine enemy. All right? Never trust thine enemy. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, man. It says a high contrast with bad colors shining as accessories and high contrast. Gecko was a sartorial brainchild of seminal men's fashion author Alan Flusser, who's referred to Gecko's look as fuck you clothes. Fuck you, I make money. Fuck you, I have power. Fuck you, I fuck you. And that's how Esau's mentality is, man. That's all they about. It says, and that brings us to Trump, a product himself of the 1980s American business style, complete with gecko-like power ties, thick, seemingly expensive, worn low red. Okay, now look, this is that nigga at the inauguration and all that. Okay? And it's a reason why he was wearing that. That's what we into. Okay? Because just like what it has, we talked about the Greeks, the French. Okay? It says more often than not, his ties are Salakia. More often than not, his ties are the same royal red as his trademark. Make America Great Again. Hats. Attention grabbing, aggressive. Again, I'm talking about his ties. While you would think red simply aligns him with his Republican cohort, which I've mentioned earlier, to the red state, blue state idea is actually only as old as Bush versus Gore. Now check this out. Hold up. And matter of fact, check this out. It says red state, blue state. So it says a kingdom divided cannot stand. All right. So that's where you get that blue state, red state from. So the kingdom, this is the American kingdom. All right. Which is a spinoff of the Roman kingdom and the Greek kingdom. So they already separating themselves. Democratic, Republican, blue state, red state, and all that shit. And that goes back as far as Bush versus Gore, man, which are two Edomites. So that's how you know this kingdom not going to stand, man. It says, and Trump's love of red tie power games is far older than that. For example, his board game uses his board game uses the same image of Donald Trump in the red tie for the box cover. The rule book, and even his fake Trump bucks, the lowest denomination of which is $10 million, man. Is this not a powerful motherfucker, man? Obviously, this all serves to make Donald look powerful. All right? Because they're going out of power, man. It says, there's even something admirable about the fact that he may be wearing his own namesake brand, even though it's kind of like wearing your own brand t-shirts. But upon further investigation by this very website, his ties are in fact the product of globalization and unpaid workers. Also, they made in China. They're made in China, man. Just like they do, they make Nikes over there, Jordans and all that over there, and they bring it back over here and triple the price, quadruple the price, man. You know, even with your smartphones and the lithium, which they got, I believe it's Simeon down there digging in tunnels and pits in the ground and shit in terrible conditions, man. Just to power a motherfucking phone and some goddamn batteries, man. Esau gotta pay for all that, man. It says as a president, Donald Trump will receive several presidential portraits. You can bet that in most he'll be painted wearing a white shirt, a blue shirt, and his trademark solid red power tie. I'm sure it'll look great. The question I have is who the Toby Keith of painting, man. That's the end of the article, man. But yeah, man, Esau is a piece of shit, a sick bastard, man. All right. And with that, man, I hope that this lesson was edifying. I hope it made sense. You know, I hope you got something out of it. All right. And to the next lesson, I'm gonna say Shalom and death to America. Stay strong, Aki, and we almost out of here. Shalom.